Good morning all. Today we'll see your third unit. To buy this textbook, you can buy it from your local bookstore, or you can buy it from Flipkart, or you can buy directly from publisher. I'll share the link in the description section. Please check that. See, the unit is Business Process Automation or ERP. What is this business process automation? Here in your business or in your organization, if you use technology, that is the computer and software, to replace the manual efforts or to execute difficult tasks, we call that as automation. Okay, ERP is the technical term for that. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. It refers to planning and managing all the processes in an organization using software systems. Okay, you have got various of open source softwares, means freely available softwares, through which you can manage all the departments and all the work in the departments through your software. That is known as enterprise resource planning. Now, why do you want automation in your company? Let us check that. It will reduce the cost, it will increase efficiency, it will streamline processes. Means streamline means it will execute one process after the other as defined. Then it improves accountability, means if you're using software tools, you will know who has done what work, how much time he has taken, all the details you will know. It will create transparency in your work, so there is no confusion or ambiguity in your work. Then accurate data recording. Every job that you do will be recorded. You can use that later for tracking, for analysis purpose, and many more. And now we'll see what is the organizational structure. So if you want to start a company, then you want to know what type your organization should be. Means there are mainly four types of organizational structure. Okay, one is functional organization structure, product organization structure, geographic organization structure, and metrics organizational structure. See, when you start your company, the CEO, that is you, and the board of directors will decide what the structure your organization should follow. That will directly impact your business. Okay, functional organization structure is one widely used in various fields. So here you will divide the responsibilities to people based on the functions. So one department will be dedicated only for marketing purpose, and another will be for sales, and another for services. This is one example of functional organization structure. This is used in religious organizations, in hotels, and in other places. In hotels, you can see the cooking department is managed by someone, the cash handling is managed by someone, and the serving customers is managed by someone else. So this, if you divide it this way, then we call that as functional organization structure. Really, if you're dividing your company or responsibilities into different peoples based on product, that we call as product based organizational structure. See, for Reliance, we have got telecommunications called Reliance Jio, then we have Reliance Digital for TV and other appliances, then we have Reliance Trends for dress and other materials. So in this case, they can divide into different departments and assign each department to some head, whom we usually call vice president. So you can assign based on the products, you're assigning people. Okay, that is known as product based organization structure. Then comes geographical organizational structure. Here, if you have a multinational company, then you can decide to divide the responsibilities based on the region. So in the figure you can see North America division, EMEA division, then Asia Pacific division. So here there will be one head managing all the everything that comes in that country or in that division. So this is known as geographic organization structure. Then comes your matrix organizational structure. This is said to be most efficient organizational structure. Here, every team will have more than one managers. See, in the first, you can see there it is divided into three departments, that is marketing, sales, and services. Also, it is divided into three divisions: electronics, home goods, and yummy snacks. So in this case, this is used when your products, you want to customize the products based on the customer feedback and market analysis. So if you frequently upgrade your products, then the team that manufactures that product will be managed by two members, one who helps in the production and the another who wants to make sure that it is as per the market demand. So both managers will make sure that the product is designed as per the requirements. This is known as matrix organizational structure. Now we'll see workflow. What is workflow? Workflow means it's a series of activities that must be performed in order to achieve a goal. We'll see an example for that. See, if you enter an hospital, first you'll wait in the reception, then the doctor will treat the patient. So this is the series of activities that happens in a hospital. Then once the doctor checks, there are two options for him. Either he may recommend to admit that patient, or he may discharge the patients. So this is the workflow from start to end. Okay. In workflow, these are the components that you have. One is the activity, action, transition, split, join, and sub-processes. So your activity and actions refers to the here which is represented in rectangle section, that is wait in reception, treat patient. These are the activities. Okay. Then transition refers to moving from one activity to another activity based on certain conditions. Then split means in admit or discharge patient, you can see there are two options: either he can be admitted or discharged. So that is known as split. Then join means if you have if two inputs are there for one activity, that is just opposite of split. Okay, that is known as join. Then one activity might have several sub processes in it, like if we say treat patient, there may be some checkings, then another sub process may be some tests, lab tests, and another process may be recommending medicines. So these are the various sub processes in the treat patient. So an activity can have several sub processes as well. Then workflow automation. Workflow automation means you're trying to replace manual efforts by using some automation tools. So instead of executing the process manually one by one, you can schedule in your computer to execute at a specific time. So process 1 to be executed at this time, then after 5 minutes process 2 to be executed. So you can streamline the processes in your tools instead of doing it manually. So that is known as automation, automating the workflow. We'll see what are the uses of automating your workflow. One is automate assignments. When we say automate assignments, so when you call Amazon customer care, it will take inputs from you, whether you want to discuss on the refunds, what is your language preference, and many things. And the work will be assigned to that particular team. Particular team from the customer care will handle that. So that is known as automate assignments. Okay. Then manage time. It will save our time. Then escalate issues. So for every process you will define certain conditions. Suppose the process is taking a long time, then you can set a rule that it should send a mail to your manager. So that is all about your escalation issues, which you do when something does not go as expected. Okay. Then implement policies. Every organization will have their own policies that you can implement in your workflow tools. Suppose you want reports generated to be in a certain format, then you can set that in your workflow tool. Then support business processes. Apart from what has been listed above, it does workflow automation tools does many other work like generating reports, analysis, and many more things. Then we'll see what are the workflow management tools available today. These are the free management softwares, that is open source softwares which are available for anyone to use it without paying any money. There are 6 softwares in your syllabus, and you should be able to work on at least one software as per your syllabus. So we'll be giving you how to work on Trello in your lab section. Please refer to that. First is your Apache Airflow, Apache Taverna, Trello, Camunda, Process Maker, and Cflow. I'll brief on all these software tools. Airflow application, here you will streamline your processes through this Airflow application. Suppose you want to execute three different processes one after the other. If you go it in a traditional way, you may not know which process didn't execute, which process took long time, and many other details. So if you do the same automation using the tool, then you can track everything that happens with that process. So here the process will be represented as directed acyclic graph, means there will not be any cycles bit connect in your workflow. That is, there will be start and the process will, you'll execute a set of process and you'll move to the end state. There will not be any loops in between. So that's your airflow application. Then comes your Taverna application. This is used in scientific field. It's used in astronomy, research, and other purposes. Then comes your Trello. This is another general workflow management tool. Here you can see there are various lists, that is manager verification, officer verification, manager approval, and so on. So in these list you will you can put one or more number of cards representing people, and you can put that in whichever the status the application is. Okay, and you can move from one to another. As the application proceeds to officer verification, you will move that card from one to another. You can set a deadline for every stage. You can escalate it via email, and you can do many more things with this Trello software. Then comes your Camunda application. This is used in web applications. We have already seen that we use HTML to develop web pages, and in your HTML, if you click some button, some action should be taken, right? So that is known as your business logic. What action it performs in the back end, or what calculation it does in the back end, that is known as business logic. And in that business logic, we can use Camunda application to automate some of the process. Then comes your process maker. So the process good thing about process maker is that you can attach your Excel sheet, Dropbox, and many other things as with your process maker uh, tool. Okay, that is another general use workflow management software. Then comes your Cflow application. So Cflow application is another workflow management tool. It is cloud based. It means that when we say cloud based, it the application will be accessible from any part of the world. So it is not stored in your local system. So that so you can access this application data from anywhere, not only from your organization. That is about your Cflow application. Next comes your important topic, that is evolution of ERP. We use softwares in all the departments of organization, and all these softwares will merge into one big software kind of which known as we call as enterprise resource planning. So how we came to this stage, from the initial MRP stage, that we'll see. That is the evolution of MRP. First is your MRP1. Initially, when the computers were introduced in 1970s, so they used automation for materials, that they called as materials requirement planning, or MRP. Then that they advanced to MRP2, and then comes your ERP1, and today what we use, we call that as ERP2. We'll see about this in detail. So this is your MRP. This is how it would look. Just assume that you are in a cycle manufacturing company, and you are into the manufacturing of cycles, where you want to know what spare parts are available ahead of time, so that you can place orders, and all these things will be automated. Okay, we'll see how it works. This is your master production schedule, the first one. So, that deals with that has the uh, details on details on what are the market demands, means how much cycles to be produced, which type of cycles we have got orders from the customers, and all those things. That's your master production schedule. Then comes your product structure file. Here you'll in product structure file, you'll know how you should proceed with your manufacturing. That is step by step details on which material will be required at what stage. So all those details will be in your product structure file. Then item master file will contains all the spare parts available or the raw materials available to proceed with your manufacturing. So all these three will serve as your input to your material requirement planning. So that you should assume as your software. So this software, what it gives your output is that it will give your work orders. That is, it will give details on what uh, products you're currently working upon, what you raw materials you need to purchase, that is your purchase orders, and then rescheduling notices based on the materials. It will say which products it will not be able to manufacture in the scheduled time, so that is known as your rescheduling notices. So all these things your system will say. That's about your MRP system. It was used mainly in the manufacturing system, manufacturing sector. Okay, then comes your MRP2 system. Here you can see uh, here you can see the material requirements planning along that will be given as input your closed loop MRP. Means you are not just focusing on manufacturing based on your traditional way. Instead, you are taking feedback from the customers, from the market and everything, and you're going to change your production real time. Suppose in MRP1 system you were scheduling every day like 10 adults bicycle and 10 children bicycles. Here you don't go with the traditional method every day. Instead, based on the feedback from the customers and the market, you will customize every day. Okay, that is what your closed loop MRP does. So then the final you call that as manufacturer resource planning. Okay, this is your MRP2 system. So this is like the advancement of your MRP1 system. This was introduced in your 1980s. Okay, then comes the ERP1 system. So in when the network connectivity was discovered, that is, you can connect various departments of your organization through the software. Then we gave a new word to it that's known as ERP1 system. So here you are not just focusing on your manufacture sector. Instead, you are trying to integrate all other departments of your organization through your software. That is, see here, services, product, MRP, then financial, then sales. All these sectors are comes under one software. So you can track everything, update everything, and automate everything that happens in your organization. This we call as ERP1 system when your network connectivity was discovered and introduced. ERP2 systems was introduced when internet connectivity became cheap and affordable. Okay, in ERP2 systems, they are integrating other subsystems also into their organization subsystem. See here you can see customer relationship management. So means we people, see for example in Amazon, we are able to track where our order is. That is because they have integrated the courier service into their systems. Also they have integrated customer profiles into their system. That is the reason we are able to track it ourselves. So that is the ERP2 system. Okay, so HRM is about your human resource management, and then supply chain management, then product life cycle management, supplier relationship management. All these things are integrated into your ERP2 systems. Okay. Next, we'll see ERP software tools. To integrate various departments into one system, these are some of the tools available today. That is ERP Next, Bittrex 24, Odoo. See, all these three are open source software, and you should be able to work on at least one of this software as per your syllabus. Okay, we'll see about it one by one. Then ERP Next. See, this is your screenshot of ERP Next. See, they already have inbuilt various templates for various departments. You can use from the available templates. You can also integrate other softwares into this into ERP Next as well. Okay, this is also one of the very popular ERP software. Then comes your Bittrex 24. This is mainly used in customer relationship management. Through this software, you can schedule meetings, schedule events, receive calls, transfer calls. You can see customer profiles and many more things. Okay. Then comes your Odoo software. Again, you can see there are so many templates and to integrate your various devices, various departments into your Odoo software. Okay. In your lab program, we are giving you how to use Odoo. So please check in the lab section of your IT skills textbook to know more details. I hope this video was helpful. Please share this with your friends and also give your comments in the comment section. Thanks for watching.